what is happening, everyone? What is happening? What's happening is that the wave of anti-Israel sentiment is roaring so loudly and is moving so intensely and so strongly that influencers and other public figureheads are given the choice. They are given two options. Either they ride the wave or they get overwhelmed by the wave. And the thing is, you can sit there and pretend as if you're living in 2005 all you want. You can sit there and try to pretend that no, the Western world is still overwhelmingly pro-Israel all you want. The reality is going to hit you. If not now, eventually, inevitably, it is going to hit you. And you are going to have to face that reality. You could sit there and say, I'm Mr. Pro-American Patriot all you want. If you are oblivious to what is happening, if you are oblivious to this rising, loud, extremely large wave that is roaring against Israel, eventually it will hit you and overwhelm you. And you are going to have to deal with that. And you are going to have to face the fact that the world is turning on Israel. You can see this in real time. Let's see if I can find this. You can see this in real time. Glenn Beck, for how long was Glenn Beck Mr. Pro-Israel? His whole career. For his entire career, Glenn Beck has been pro-Israel, and he still is. Well, he goes to this conservative youth event thinking and talking as if it's 2005, and he has to deal with the wave. He has to face the wave of anti-Israel sentiment amongst the American youth. Because the American youth are saying, are you Israel first or are you America first? That's it. Back in the day when I was growing up, middle school, high school, conservatism was what? Pro-life, Christian, or pro-Christian at least, pro-family values, being against gay marriage, pro-traditional marriage, pro-Israel. That was the conservative movement. That's what you had to be. What is it now? The conservative movement can pretty much be summed up into a question. Are you Israel first or are you America first? That's it. And the old tricks don't work. You can sit there and bitch about Iran and China and Qatar all you want. Nobody gives a fuck. You can sit there and say, oh, no, it's Qatar, it's China, it's this, it's that. Everyone's talking about Israel. Because since we were children, and you will know that I'm right if you are a millennial who was born in either the late 80s or in the early 90s, you were raised to be pro-Israel for decades. And so what's happening when you are raised in a lie your whole life, or for the majority of your life, and then you realize that you were living in a lie, what is going to anger you more than anything else? The lie. And the people who promote the lie. That's what's going to anger you. That's what's going to anger you. Your energy is not going to be focused on China. Because for your whole life, you've been told to be anti-China. For your whole life, you were told that China is the big boogeyman, when the reality is that the whole purpose of this propaganda is to foment anti-Chinese sentiment, because China is the second or the number one biggest economic enemy of the American empire, and that's why they were telling you to be anti-China. You're not going to give a fuck about Iran. Why? Because your whole life you've been told Iran's the bad guy, Iran's the bad guy, Iran's the bad guy. When the reality is, for your whole life you've been told to be anti-Iran simply for the fact that Iran is a major oil exporter and is a major ally of Russia and therefore a major competitor to American gas and oil companies. That's why they told you to be against Iran. It had nothing to do with terrorism. It had nothing to do with Shiaism, 12th Imamism, or any of that bullshit. It had nothing to do with Ahmadinejad calling America the big Satan. That's all bullshit. It had everything to do with making sure that a certain narrative that would be to the benefit of certain oil and gas companies would be perpetuated in American society. That is the whole purpose. So you're not going to give a fuck about Iran. Don't give me this. I know about Iran. Don't tell me about freaking Iran. What's going to anger you more than anything is the lie that you were raised to believe in. That is what's going to anger you. And that's what you are going to exert the majority of your efforts to be against. So what is happening with the millennials, what's happening with the Zoomers is they've had enough. So now they're saying, okay, America first or Israel first, because for the entirety of our lives, or for a huge chunk of our lives, we were raised to be patriotic Americans, raising the American flag alongside the Israeli flag. We were told that America was the greatest country in the world and that we had to honor the American flag and the Israeli flag. We were never told to honor the Iranian flag. We were never told to honor the Chinese flag. We were told to spit on those flags. We were never told to honor those flags. But for the longest time, American conservatism / patriotism has been geared towards the American flag, the Israeli flag. America is the greatest country, but also Israel. Be pro-America, but also be pro-Israel. And now people are saying, whoa, hold on. If you want us to be nationalist, if you want us to be patriotic, it's America first, buddy, not Israel first. That's the tide that we are dealing with. So if you're oblivious to this tide and you are involved in political discourse, eventually the tide is going to hit you. And you either have the choice to ride with it, or you have the choice to be crushed by it and to get pushed into obscurity. I choose really to be critical of Israel, not because it's the trend. I've been critical of Israel since 2018. Go look at my articles if you don't believe me. I am objectively critical of Israel. At the same time, I am not stupid to the point where I don't understand where this sort of trend goes to and where this sort of trend spirals downwards to. Because what this trend is going to spiral downwards to is people saying, well, maybe the Austrian painter had it right. And that is something I'm not going to stand for. Which means I will be crushed by the pro-Austrian painter wave. That's what that means. I will be critical of Israel until my last dying breath. I will be critical of the synagogue of Satan. I don't give a fuck. But does that mean that I'm going to turn down a very dangerous road because of that? No. And that's what people need to watch out for. That's what people need to watch out for. But you see the rise of the Austrian painter fanboys, and what that means is the Hitlerite wave is rising up. And I'm not oblivious to it. I've been warning people about this since early 2016. Look at my articles if you don't believe me. I wrote my first article warning people about the rise of Hitlerism in the beginning of 2016. So I've been seeing this coming for a long time, for almost 10 years now. But I'm not oblivious to it. But at the same time, I'm not willing to ride that wave because I have principles. So I am more than likely going to be crushed by that wave, is what I'm saying. But going back to what I was saying about the wave and the oblivion and how you have the Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck is on his way out. He's already out. That guy's been that guy has been in the realm of obscurity for years now. Ever since he started criticizing Donald Trump, he's been obscure. But now he's going to be pushed even more towards the realm of obscurity. Why? Because he has been oblivious to the reality of the rising wave of anti-Israel sentiment. And here is a video. Let me show you guys this video real quick. Here is a video of Glenn Beck getting hit by the wave.
Israel has an overwhelming lobby over the United States government, and we have unconditionally supported them. We have fought their wars in the Middle East. Bibi Netanyahu came to our Congress in the 90s, told us a list of countries that we need to take out. Some were Syria, Iraq, Iran, Libya, etc. Through those wars, we have lost trillions of dollars. We have lost American servicemen.
We're lobbying everybody else.
You see, and he's doing the bullshit arguments. The bullshit arguments. Well, we're lobbying everybody. Yeah, but nothing is like, everyone knows nothing is like the pro-Israel lobby. When it comes to foreign policy, I mean, don't give me this NRA bullshit. When it comes to foreign policy, nothing is more powerful than the Israel lobby. That's going to change soon, though. But just give this a watch. Now, what is he faced with? He is faced with the summation of the current trend of nationalism, which is, are you America first or Israel first? And believe me, not last week, but the week before last week, I was outside and I saw a pickup truck, a big fat black pickup truck, and it rode in front of me. And it had 3 flags. One was the American flag. 2, the second flag was the MAGA flag, and then the flag behind that was a flag that said America first. And I knew, I told myself, I said, when they say America first, we all know what that means. That means fuck Israel. That's what that means. It literally means fuck Israel. That's what that means. And so when they see Israel first, believe me, the Israelis are worried, the pro-Israel folks are worried, they're all worried about that stuff, because what is the logical conclusion? And Trump started this whole thing. He started this whole thing. America first, America first, America first. And so then what happened? People said, okay, America first, that means Israel isn't first. Now what are you going to do? So now you have to be a little bit critical of Israel. Now you have to try to show that you're not totally working at the behest of Israel. You're not going to acquiesce to all their demands. You're not subservient to the lobby. And that's why you see Vance criticizing Israel. You see Witkoff, Kushner criticizing Israel. Donald Trump recently criticizing Israel in his interview with Time Magazine. Saying, do you know what Donald Trump said in Time Magazine? Donald Trump said, if I did not stop this war, Netanyahu would have continued on. We had to put the leash on him after he bombed Qatar. It's an embarrassment for the United States. I do not believe that America wanted Israel to bomb Qatar. I just don't believe that. Why would America want a major Gulf ally to be bombed by Israel? It just doesn't look good to see an American ally bombing another American ally, and then people think that America just stands around and does nothing about it. It doesn't look good for America. It looks like America doesn't have control over Israel. So Donald Trump said, I had to put my foot down, and I had to put the leash on Netanyahu, so to speak. So Israel went out of control, crossed the big old fat red line, and America now has to show that they actually control Israel. So let's watch some more of this video.
And they will...
America first or Israel first? That is the question.
Charlie was starting to notice about the Israel lobby.
Could I answer my question? Could I answer the question, please?
You're talking about one thing they don't teach in school? They don't teach about the USS Liberty, where Israel literally came, blew up an American ship.
Look at Beck's face. Does this dude look happy? Does this guy look like he's excited to be there? This guy don't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there. He is now being hit with the wave that he was oblivious to. Let's watch some more of this.
Because they want us to get in their war with Egypt, and they don't teach that in school. I'm just saying.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I know body language. Okay, this means I'm trying to give you the impression that I'm acknowledging what you're saying, and maybe I'm kind of agreeing with you, but at the same time, I don't really like being here, guys. I don't really like being here, y'all.
Thank you for your question.
I have a question. Why is there this...
Once you see that red hat, you know what's coming. You know what's coming once you see that red hat. That guy doesn't look happy. Beck, I'm talking about. The other guy on the top, he's about to strike. Once you see that red hat, you know you're going to get hit up with the question. Israel first or America first? And you see, this is the evolution of American nationalism. It's not really an evolution. I would say that it's a return to the legacy of American nationalism. Because if you look at American nationalism in the mid-20th century, it was all about America first. Hardcore. It was all about America first. And so what we are seeing right now is a return to that. That's the thing. That's what's happening. Let's watch some more.
Societal taboo around criticisms of Israel. For example, AIPAC doesn't have to register as a foreign lobby, but like the Australia lobby does. And it just...
That should be changed. That should be corrected.
He's getting a little hot under the collar. Little hot under the collar there. Got to take that jacket off. And he had to say that needs to be changed, because if he does it, that makes him look like he is an asset of a foreign power. So he's having to adapt. He just made his first adaptation. You are seeing the beginning of natural selection in the political realm.
And it just
That should be changed. That should be corrected. Look, I am not going to say Israel should have any special privileges. None.
Israel.
Sweating bullets. Yeah, that's the reality. He got hit with the wave. That's the thing. That is the reality. And Ted Cruz got hit with that wave with the Tucker Carlson interview. And you are going to see the nationalist movements in Western countries turn against Israel. You're going to see it. You're already seeing it. Gradually, you're already seeing it. Somebody told me recently that I am wrong when I say that the world is turning against Israel. And this was this person's argument. He said, Theodore, you're just living in your own confirmation loop that you get from being on social media. In other words, I'm going on to X, I'm going on to YouTube, I'm going on to Facebook, I'm going on to Instagram, and I'm seeing this wave after wave after wave of anti-Israel discourse and anti-Israel sentiment being expressed. And so I am concluding that the world is turning on Israel based on my experience in the algorithmic world of social media. That is a bullshit argument, because the numbers don't lie. Because I am not basing my opinion solely on social media. Social media does play a big role. But let me tell you guys something. The numbers don't lie. When you see that 53% as of March of this year of Americans are critical of Israel, when you see that 69% of Democrats are critical of Israel, when you see that Democrats who are supportive of Israel's war in Gaza are right now in the single digits as far as statistics go, when you see that 80% of the Japanese people are critical of Israel, when you see that the majority of people in South Korea are critical of Israel, when you see that the majority of Europeans are critical of Israel, when you see that even Donald Trump has to criticize Israel, when you see the fact that 2 million people in Italy took part in demonstrations against Israel, when you see that 69 or 60, over 60% of the Italian workforce went on a worker strike as a form of protest against Israel, when you see hundreds of thousands of people in Amsterdam protesting against Israel, or 150,000 people in Amsterdam protesting against Israel, when you see all of these things, when you see Ted Cruz getting hit by the anti-Israel wave, when you see Glenn Beck getting hit by the wave, when you see Charlie Kirk, before he was tragically murdered, getting hit by the wave, and you see that even he was becoming critical of Israel, and even he was getting disillusioned with Israel. When you see all of this reality, and then plus add to that the wave after wave after wave of anti-Israel sentiment on social media, you see all of these factors. It's not just an algorithmic loop that is giving me my evidence for what I'm saying. It's all of these things. It's all of the above. It's all of these factors. And so people are going to say, oh, you're just following some confirmation bias. Bullshit! Megyn Kelly got hit with the wave. All these people got hit with the wave. And when you see, for example, Dave Smith, he's got a lot of subscribers. He's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. His average live stream gets around 100,000 plus views, which is pretty good. He brings on Nick Fuentes, boom, he gets over 1 million views. And even Dave Smith had to do a follow-up video saying that his Nick Fuentes interview is his most watched video on his channel. His most watched live stream was when he brought in Nick Fuentes. That tells you something, guys. When you see that Charlie Kirk was pro-Israel, all right, I mean, for most of his career, he was pro-Israel. He was still somewhat pro-Israel before he died, but that was beginning to break. But when he was doing his pro-Israel stuff and he was doing his live streams, Charlie Kirk was getting hundreds of thousands of views for his live streams, on average, I would say. But you look at, what's her name? Candace Owens. Candace Owens does one single live stream. It gets 2 million views. 2 million views for one single Candace Owens live stream. Steve Crowder doesn't get those numbers. Charlie Kirk wasn't getting those numbers. Candace Owens is getting those numbers. The critic of Israel is getting those numbers. That tells you something. The wave is growing, and it's not going to end. We're not going to wake up one day and say, you know what? We have now seen the light. We're going to wave the Israeli flag. That ain't going to happen, guys. It's just not going to happen. Yeah, and then you see all of the leaks. Did you guys see the leaks that came out from the Republican Youth Club? All these leaked out text messages of members of the Republican Youth branch talking about how they love Adolf Hitler, talking about how they want to see people burn. Did you guys see this? I think Politico did a whole expose on it. It's pretty freaking scary what the future holds. This is not... See, being critical of Israel when Israel does evils and when evil does wrongs is good. Here is the problem. The problem is we live in an extremist society. I know that people like to attribute extremism to third world countries. They'll say, well, that's North Korea, that's China, that's Iran, that's Gaza, right? Those are the extremist societies. But in America, we live in an extremist society where people find it difficult to have a balanced opinion on things. When they're pro-Israel, when Americans are pro-Israel, they'll deny all the crimes that Israel does, or they'll justify the crimes, or they will cover up for the crimes. When Americans are anti-Israel, they'll start liking the Austrian painter. You see how dangerous this is? It's good to be critical of Israel. Be critical of Israel. Please be critical of Israel. I want people to be critical of Israel. I don't want people to be pro-Israel zombies. I don't want that. Because I've seen where that goes. That enables, because having an American society that is dominated by pro-Israel zombies enables Israel to do genocide and atrocities. So please be critical of Israel. Here is the problem, is when people start going down the road of the Austrian painter. That's the scary trend that I'm noticing. And I'm begging people, I am exhorting and imploring people not to go down that path. We got to have a balanced view. Why are we critical of Israel? Because of injustice. So if our criticism of Israel is because of injustice, then let us not tread upon the path of injustice. And that's what worries me more than anything, really.